What's up guys, it's Gavin here from Deep Blue Tutorials. Today is our 6th WordPress tutorial and we're going to be focusing on menus, and we're going to be adding a navigation menu to our WordPress site using the built-in WordPress function. So first things first, we're going to open up our text editor and I'm going to open up the header file that we created in the third tutorial. Now in this file we haven't actually added any content to any page yet. All we have is the title tag and the link to our style sheet in the head tag, and we've opened up our body tag. So inside this body tag, I'm going to place a div with a class header, not cheddar. And then inside this header tag, I'm going to add a h1, and this will be the title of our site shown at the very top. And I'm going to call it Deep Blue Tutorials, and close off the header tag. Now I'm going to make this a link to our home page, so every time, no matter what page we're on, this will always link to our home page. I'm going to do this using the blog info function again. So we'll open up an a tag, we'll add our href equals, and inside the quotes we're going to put php blog info, open up our brackets. We're going to pass in the parameter URL, and we're going to close the brackets, and we're going to close our PHP function, and then we're going to close the A and close it off over here. Now that blog info function there, that will passing in the parameter URL will mean it'll give us back the link to our website and the link to our home page. So if your website was www.samplewebsite.com, that will link to www.samplewebsite.com. And then under this, we are going to add in a function, open up our PHP, we're going to call it WP nav menu. And inside this we're going to pass an array. And inside this array is going to be two parameters. One is going to be called sort column, and I'm going to set that to menu order. And the second is going to be container class, and I'm going to set that to something. Let's call it navbar. And we're going to close off this function and close our PHP tags. Now, to explain what we did there, we have called a nav menu, a WordPress nav menu. We've passed an array into it, and in that array we've just declared two variables. The sort column one means that it will sort it based on the menu order that you create in your WordPress backend, and we'll see that in a minute. And container class adds a div around the menu and calls it navbar, and you'll see that in action in a minute too. Before we do this, we have to open up our functions file, and inside this we've already registered our sidebar. So under this, we're going to add the following code. And it's only one simple line: add theme support menus, and close that off. And all that does, it allows your team to add the menus support. So WordPress has its own way of handling navigation menus, or menus in general, and you can create these on the back end, and this will allow you to do that. So now we'll go to our web browser. We will type in, into our URL, we will type in localhost, and there it is there. My site's called WordPress. We'll go into that, and already you can see the menus and the header working right there, and that will display on every single page. Now, in order to actually fix that up a bit more, because this is coming outside of our wrapper because we've declared it in the header file, I'm going to open up our index file, and I'm going to copy that wrapper and cut it out here, and I'm going to open that in our header file instead. And then we will just indent all this. We'll close off that div, the header div, and as you can see, now our wrapper is declared at the top. So if we reload our site, that header there should be shown at the should be shown in the middle inside the wrapper, and that's the sample page is the page that's created when we created our WordPress site. Now we'll be adding a few more pages down in a second, but all we have to do now is reload this, and it should show inside the wrapper, and there you go. So now we're going to open a new tab, and we're going to go to the back end of our site. So localhost /WordPress/WP admin, and in here we're going to add, you can see the pages link here on the left. I'm going to add 2 new pages, and one is going to be called About Us, and inside here I'm just going to add some lorem ipsum. So we'll just add 1 paragraph there, and I'm going to publish that page, and then I'm going to add another new page, and I'm going to call that Contact, and again we'll just add more lipsum into it, and there you have it. We'll publish that page too. Now we're going to go to Appearance and Menus down here, and this menus will only appear once you've declared the function here in your functions.php file. Once you've declared add theme support menus, this will only appear then. So we'll go into that, and we will create a new menu up here. We'll call it Navigation. We'll create the menu, and you'll see these pages over here on the left. I'm going to click Contact and About Us. I'm not going to add the sample page to the menu. I'm going to add that to the menu, and you'll see these 2 here. I'm going to order it this way, so as About Us comes first, and I'm going to save the menu, and this will create that menu that we had already on the site. It will just edit it, so you'll see that without actually touching any code, we're going to edit this menu here, and we'll reload that page, and there you have it. Those 2 are coming up. Now all I'm going to briefly do is I'm going to style this a little bit just to make the site look a bit nicer again. So we're going to open up our style.css file, and on the body here I'm just going to add a background color just so we can see that wrapper, because it's not very defined. So I'm going to add the color of a nice blue, 5A7 CC3, and then our wrapper file, I'm going to give that a padding and a background color. So we'll say 20 pixels vertically and 10 pixels horizontally, and I'll give it a background color of a lighter, I'm going to give it a background color of white actually. And then we're just going to style our navbar a bit. So we created that container class called navbar. So inside that we have an unordered list. That's what our navigation menu is saved as, an unordered list. We'll make sure there's no bullet points coming out of that list. So we'll say list.none. We will make the effect so that each individual navbar item is floated left and appears horizontally instead of vertically. So we'll add a style to each list, and we'll say float left and position relative. And then because each list item or each navigation item is a link to another page, we will style that link too, just to make it a bit nicer again. So we'll display block. We'll give each one a padding of 15 pixels. We'll give each one a color of white, and we'll give each one a background color of, say, a lighter blue, 68 CCC. And we'll give each one a margin right of 5 pixels just to separate them a bit. And I'm going to save that. I'm going to go back to our site. I'm going to reload that. And there you go. And what we'll do is we'll add a clearing under that to make sure that these posts don't come directly over it or directly beside it, because they're floating left. So in our header file, I will put div class equals, actually no, we had a style last time for our line break. As you see here in the style, we cleared left. So we add that, and it should do the exact same job. And there you have it. So now we have a nice little navigation menu here. We have our actual header here linking to our site, and we have our loop here under it, and then we have our widgets here over at the side. And that should do it for today, guys. You've learned a bit about navigation menus. So next time we'll be going into more detail. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.